fireworks. The NGT ban of firecrackers must spur the center to intensify anti-pollution measures. So NGT is an organization, and uh, its full form is National Green Tribunal, and it has announced a ban on firecrackers. So in order to cooperate with that and to go in the direction, center must follow up by by taking all the required anti-pollution measures. In the era of COVID-19 pandemic, it should surprise no one that the National Green Tribunal or NGT has prohibited the sale and use of firecrackers during Deepavali in the national capital region of Delhi and in urban cities that recorded poor or worse air quality in November last year. So there is this organization known as National Green Tribunal or NGT, and it has announced a ban on all the firecrackers. No one would be actually surprised to hear this because we already have the situation of COVID-19, which could aggravate if we allow the cracking of firecrackers. So due to that reason, they have banned firecracking in most of the cities whose air quality was very poor when they saw the recordings of last year's November. The directions expand on Supreme Court orders issued in the past and provide some concessions to cities and towns that have moderate or better air quality by allowing green crackers to extend to Christmas and New Year if the ban continues beyond November. So if this ban continues beyond this month of November, it will only last until it will only last until Christmas or only until New Year. And also they have as I said before, they have only banned firecracking in the cities in which the air quality was very poor last year in the month of November. So the thing with other cities is that the cities which have moderate or even better air quality, even they should not do firecracking, but they can still use green crackers, which are basically some crackers which does not pollute the uh, which which do not pollute the which do not pollute the environment as much as the real fire real firecrackers do. So they are a bit less harmful. These stipulations are these stipulations continues beyond November. The NGT took note that the Odisha, Rajasthan, Sikkim, Chandigarh, and the Delhi Pollution Control Committee and the Calcutta High Court had already responded to deteriorating environmental conditions by banning firecrackers this year. So before even the NGT had announced a ban on the firecrackers, many other states have actually took that up and they have banned and they have banned and they have banned firecrackers in their particular regions or areas. The the tribunal's reasoning giving primacy to the precautionary principle in sustainable development over employment and revenue losses is understandable. So why NGT is doing all this is very understandable, and even it should do, because COVID-19, when we have the situation of COVID-19, if we have more pollution, air will obviously spread more quickly, and now the air will even be now the air will be even more dangerous because of the polluted particles mixed with the virus. As an impact of COVID-19 became clear in March, and there were fears of a case surge during the winter, it was incumbent on the center to do work with states and resolutely prevent the burning of and resolutely prevent the burning of farm stubble ahead of Deepavali. So actually, when we had winter, the country was very frightened because we have been told that in the month of winter or when the weather is very cold, the chance of getting COVID-19 is very high. So because of that, we had many fears, and because of that, the center had worked with the state, and both of them cooperatedly worked, and they took many measures, and hope and hap and hap and fortunately, nothing became more. This annual phenomenon unfailingly falls there across northern and eastern India and imposes heavy health and productivity costs. So, what we do every year during Deepavali is actually very dangerous. It pollutes most of the parts of the northern and of the of the northern and the eastern of the northern and the eastern area of India. In the absence of pollution from agricultural residue, there might have been some room for a limited quantity of firecrackers. Although climatic conditions at this time of year of low temperature and atmospheric circulation would still leave many in distress. So this year the waste or the pollution which we got from agriculture by using fertilizers is very low. So we may think that because of that we may have some space or room for the pollution of the firecrackers and nothing much will happen. But that's not the case. In this year, the because of the COVID-19 situation and also because of the atmospheric circulation, um, which is component by low temperature. This year we had a low temperature comparatively to the other years. So because of all these reasons, firecracking can become a more problem. It can become a more dangerous problem than it is even when we don't have the pollution which we get from agriculture every year. Only damage control is possible now, including steps to address the concerns of fireworks industry. Even without the risk of a COVID-19 surge, it should be evident to policymakers that their measures under the National Clean Air Program, which seeks to reduce particulate matter pollution by 20% to 30% by 20,000 by 2024, must be demonstrably effective. So, the policymakers or the people in the NGT who work in NGT who make these laws, even if they leave out COVID-19 situation at all, and if they forget it, they still need to make sure that the policy will stand, because they have promised that um, by 2024 the number they have promised that the particulate matter the particulate matter pollution by 2024 it should reduce by 30%. Now it is reduced by 20%, and they have set a goal that it should reduce by 30%. So even to reach that goal, they should take this measure up. Many other cities have a similar profile but less attention, with 40% of all pollution linked deaths attributed to bad air quality in leading emerging economies, and some evidence from the US on higher COVID-19 mortality in high polluted areas. It is time that governments showed a sense of accountability on the right to breathe clean air. So in most of the cities which are emerging and evolving to become a better version of themselves, every city which is trying to do so, it is at the same time it is also producing so much pollution. So because of that, it is producing so much pollution that 40% of the deaths which happen in those particular cities are related to pollution. And the USA research has concluded that if the pollution in a particular area is more, the spreading or the spreading of the coronavirus or COVID-19 will also be high. So the government should do something, and it should take precautionary measures to to save the air from getting polluted too much. Tamil Nadu, where 90% of the firecrackers of India are produced, has legitimate concerns on the fate of the industry this year, which producers claim represent about 2,300 crore worth of output. A transparent compensation scheme for workers and suitable relief for producers may be necessary. Although the longer term solution might lie in broad basing economic activity in the Sivakasi region, reducing reliance on firecrackers. So we have one other big problem. It is that in India, the state of Tamil Nadu produces most of the firecrackers. In fact, they produce 90% of the firecrackers of India. So it's just not a simple thing for them if we take off the use of firecrackers this year, because there are a lot of people in factories who are working to produce that firecrackers and from which they get benefited and from which they get their money to live. But when we ban all these firecrackers at once, they won't be getting any income, and so they'll be homeless. And this is not only the problem of the people or the labor who work there, this is also the problem of the producer, because even he doesn't get money. So they have claimed that about 2300 crore rupees is the amount of outcome which they get every year. So this year it might be really hard for them, and the government should do something and provide them with some compensation. And also, another major thing which the government should do is that in the state of Tamil Nadu especially, it should decrease the reliance of people on firecrackers. Means it should convince people to go away from the firecrackers and use something more eco-friendly to the nature to celebrate Diwali. Thank you.